Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from our opening speaker, the Minister in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. In January 2022, Senator Hill was appointed as Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, and Minister Hill has responsibility for 22 government agencies and departments, including JAMPRO, Cannabis Licensing Authority, Trade Board Limited, the Companies Office of Jamaica, Consumer Affairs Commission, and Bureau of Standards Jamaica. Prior to his time in the public sector, Minister Hill gained over 35 years of working experience in the private sector as an international banker. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome our opening speaker this morning, Senator the Honourable Aubyn Hill.
Thank you very much, Ms. Talia Suarez, for that nice introduction. Even my dead mother would be proud of that. Thank you. Dr. Jacqueline Coke-Lloyd, I can't say all protocol observed when the lady has been doing this for 13 years, hold it through COVID, and we're back out here in a full house, and we're going to say all no, give her a round of applause. This is an amazing consistency. My friend, Pastor Dwight Fletcher, good to see you. All the honorees at the front table right here, media practitioners, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to share in this 13th staging of the Middle Managers Conference presented by Dr. Coke and the team of Make Your Mark Consultants. I have been privileged to participate in previous years, and I'm happy to give my support again, this time as Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, to which I've added the tagline, Jamaica's Business Ministry. We are about business, no questions, no equivocation. That's where we stand. This conference is important as it provides opportunities for learning, development, and engagement with employees who often contend that they have the hardest jobs. This conference is coming at a time when the workplace is being changed. Last November was probably a striking point, a parting course when ChatGPT was announced. And Bard is in there, and I see Pichai of Google, who seems to own Bard, saying that he really doesn't know where it's going. So God bless you if you know where it's going. In other words, like the rest of life, for all times, there is uncertainty. It is in this uncertainty which opportunity dwells. Middle managers are caught between those who are policymakers and strategists, determining how things should be run, and those in line staff who are tasked with actually doing the job. There are some who believe that ideas, processes, and systems slip off the tracks somewhere in the middle because middle managers are often ill-equipped for the associated tasks of leadership and moving people in one direction. As Jamaica continues to upskill middle management personnel, helping them to change from being competent strategic administrators to inspirational and even visionary leaders, then these developmental sessions are really a very good thing and a key extension of training. This year's theme, Leading from the Middle with Courage, Authenticity, and Vision, affirms the role of those who operate at the middle-level position, but it also elevates you to the critical position of leader. You have the most difficult job because you're both follower and a leader. So, I go to these things often, here and overseas, and I often have a test, but this room is too big, so I'm not going to do the test. I'm going to tell you what it is. You think for 5 seconds who you would define as a leader. Whatever you have in your mind. Some will say he or she has gone to whichever university, come from the right parents, go to the right church, have the right uncles, have the right money to back them. Let me tell you what a leader is. A leader is simply someone who has followers. If you have no followers, you're leading nothing. Is how you text along. I thought I was pretty good because I work it out myself. So no matter what your bosses tell you, when your colleagues start following you and believe what you say and believe you can deliver, you are a leader. It's just a matter of time before the money comes and the position in the corner office. Focus. So, a leader has to be wise and has to be a sensible follower. Think of the Vice President of the United States. And I like to use George Herbert Bush and Ronald Reagan for a particular reason. Ronald Reagan, they say, was a cowboy, an actor, couldn't do anything except that I remember him telling Mr. Gorbachev, tear down the wall. Not many other people could do that and back it up with cruise missiles that they didn't like. Those of you who are young and starting out in middle management, it's something nice to read about. But I bring to you George Herbert Bush, who was a scion of one of the most powerful families in the United States. Come from Kennebunkport, Connecticut, went to all the right schools, all of them, all the best ones in America. Was in the Navy, was maybe fly plane too, I don't know. Big man, headed the CIA, headed everything. But he had to be second to the cowboy from California who said, tear down the wall. He had to learn to be a follower before he learned to be a president. Him have to go and kiss baby. Him have to go to funerals. And places him not go to, all them places that the kind of rich man not go to, you know. But he had to. So if you're going to be a leader, make sure while you're in the stage of following, you follow well and wisely. So therefore, you have to internalize and own the message for yourselves. Then carefully, accurately convey this to those to whom you're responsible to lead. This requires tenacity. You have to have stick-to-itiveness. That's not my term. It's written by the writer of Power of Positive Thinking. You have to have that ability to be tenacious, to stay the course. I bring another leader that you might have forgotten. President Mitterrand was in opposition for 25 years before he became the president of France, and then became one of the longest-serving presidents of France. So you have to be, if you're in the middle management position, you are the glue that keeps things together. You have to be humane. You have to be able to be sophisticated in your communications. You have to have the ability to mediate. You have to have various playing skills. So if you only have one skill, today look for another one. Develop 2 or 3 more. Because nobody who is a really good senior CEO has only one skills. Now, there are 1 or 2 skills, maybe one, that they're exceptional in. But I can promise you, if they're a good CEO, they have other skills that they are not necessarily going to show you right up front. You have to have a clear, good attitude to serve. I have, as you've heard, about 20 or 22 agencies in the ministry. And I've been meeting with some of them. And yesterday, I had to say to one group of people from a particular agency, listen to me now. You are a servant. I am here to serve. You are to enable people. You are to facilitate. Now, they have a regulatory role. So, they sort of come in, we're lawyers. We regulate. We tell you the rules. Well, you're not going to get anything done that way. You must not break the rules, but you have to enable and facilitate. Jamaica's business ministry. So I tell them, we're Jamaica's business ministry. If you can't serve, if you can't enable, if you can't facilitate, you're in the wrong place. Leave. Now, I can only tell them to leave. I can't push them out. You have to go through IDT and you have to go to lawyers. And so you understand what I mean. I'm encouraging them to say, get the right attitude. This is the place where we serve. Get on board and get with the service attitude and the facilitatory attitude. As a middle manager who very often is ambitious to go higher, you must make sure you don't just regulate and block. You facilitate, you enable, you encourage, and sometimes you have to regulate. So it's the attitude that you take with you to middle management that will set you apart. As middle manager, you're ideally placed to help your organizations achieve success, and that is what you are employed and tasked and, frankly, paid to do. Very often people don't like to talk about payment. And they want to talk about promotion and so on. I said, look, the best incentive you get is every end of the month, if you're paid monthly. If you're paid by month, if you're paid every 2 weeks, the best incentive you get is every 2 weeks. How you mean you don't have no incentive in the business? You don't get paid every 2 weeks or every month. And we tend to forget that, no, it's not. There are people who put up the money, people who put up the resources, either in equity or they borrow the money from the bank, and then you get your salary and you take it, you treat it as if it's nothing. It's not so. Now I can speak to you now because I've been all around the block and now I get, a government salary. I don't say anything bad about the government salary. Don't you get into that business. Don't go and misquote me. Okay? I am saying every time you get the salary, you must appreciate it as an incentive. I used to tell the people at NCB and the banks that I ran, that let me tell you something. Every morning before you come off the bed, pray to the Lord to send you 5 problems today. Why send me 5 problems? I said, look, I was there to bring in Finacle from Infosys in India, the backbone and software of the bank. I said, let me tell you something. If we don't have problem in NCB, Mike can stay in Canada and run the bank by remote. The only reason him have us down here is to have problems. So pray for 5. In fact, if you're wise, the perfect number is 7. Pray for 7 problems every morning. You get up so that you have a job to fix. It's true, You think I'm joking, But it's true if there's no problem or things to work out. You see, I'm hearing on the radio this morning that a whole group of people must get paid. The computer didn't seem to work. The salary, you have a problem. You get up, instead of 8 o'clock, you're in the office this morning when the salary is now paid at 5:30, working it out so that when they punch the button at 8 o'clock, you have called the bank manager already and fixed it. It is therefore, middle managers, problems that keep you in the job. If you are causing the problem, you're not going to keep the job. So me tell you, say you keep yours good and go look for other people's problem and fix it. Then you get their job too. It means it's called a promotion. So you want a promotion? Go look for the problems in the job and fix them. Now don't go create problems and then try and look like you're fixing it. People can see through that nonsense. And very soon you won't have a job. But you must also be authentic. And I want to tell you that authenticity is akin to humility. The moment you begin to recognize how humble you are, you've lost it. You ever hear people stand up and say, how humble I am? And so them not humble nothing. Them lost it, they've lost it. So when you start, authenticity is something somebody ascribes to you. And it is ascribed to you because they watch how you behave. They see if your words rhyme with your action. They see if you lie to them. And you know, Jack Welch, who was acclaimed as the best manager for the last century by Businessweek, now owned by Bloomberg, Jack Welch said, I heard him say this in Shanghai, one of the conferences I attended here. He said, look, one of the wickedest things managers do is lie to their colleagues who they must lead. And they lie in this fashion. They go and make everybody above average or excellent, and they know they're not excellent. So he says, you know what you do? We at G, and Jack Welch ran a company with 350,000 people around the world. And he'd review and see the top 3,500 every year. Those are the people who drive his company. He saw them. He talked to them. He evaluated them, or saw the evaluation. He said, look, we try to be very fair at GE. We make sure we tell you early that you really don't fit here. Use GE on your resume and get a job somewhere else where you fit. And that is an act of kindness, because he said, the wickedest thing is this: you keep lying to your employee for 10, 15 years. They start off, if after 3 years you did tell them the truth, they might have found a job at a better place, but you leave them there. Now they have family, they have kids going to school, the mother-in-law is not so well, their father not so well, they have mortgage to pay for. They're there 15 years, and a young whippersnapper from the school that Eva, who runs Citibank, goes. One of them high-flying people, with all my money, come in. And after 6 months, them look upon you after you're 15 years, and you tell them how you're there 15 years, and they fire your butt. It's so unfair to the employee who has been lied to for 12, 15 years. Don't do it. And we do it a lot in Jamaica. We will not confront people and say, this is a story. Well, you're middle managers, you're going up, you're employing people, me telling you straight. Don't do it. Now, them call me all kinds of names that my mother would not be proud of. But me not have no shame. I really have to, when you're praying for 7 problems, me also say, Lord, make me back strong. On top of the 7 problems you're going to give me today. So I deal with it. I try to be as fair as you can. Now, people don't like honesty very much. We all sort of lie to each other, avoid each other, and you don't tell. So I'm going to give you this. Look out for this. Watch it carefully. I remember once I was divesting some sugar assets, and my name came out in the newspaper, how me getting paid a whole for money and whatever it is. I didn't want to tell them what I used to get paid before I joined that thing. So one of my good friends said to me, Aubyn, how do you manage this thing? People criticizing you in the paper, and the people would put it out there. They wait until a Friday evening. You can't answer anything, and them say, oh, you're corrupt. So anyway, I said, this is how I do it. Your friends will never generally tell you the absolute truth. They don't want to mess up the relationship. And the one friend who will tell you generally you don't like them afterwards, which is why they don't tell you in the first place. So don't depend on your friend to tell you the honest truth all the time. Listen to your most acerbic critic, the one who you know not like you, for whatever reason, just because you are you. Them don't know your father, them don't know anything about them, don't like you. Listen to them carefully, because very often they're saying things that your friends will not say. What you must do is be reflective. You know if what I say is true or not, if you're sensible. If it's true, change. If it's not true, disregard it. So I said to the friend who asked me, I said, I listen to my most acerbic critic and treat them as an unpaid consultant. I can't pay them. I can't pay them for the truth. They'll tell me if it's true. But the thing is changed, because 3 years later, they'll still be criticizing you for that thing. You're changed and gone and fly gone. Let them stay right there. But don't be foolish. Your friends won't tell you all the things that you need to know. So we have three. I'm going to tell you this and leave you so you get on with your management. We have 3 goals in our ministry. Big ones. We have other ones, but we need to grow exports. I'm going to tell you about that a little bit. We need to increase our investments. You know that. And we are in a place where the 3 tenets of economics, land, labor, and capital, are in a flux. But we are in a special place because for 30, 40 years, employers have always had the privilege of paying the price that they want for labor because it wasn't short. We are now at a place where about 6 or 6.5% unemployment, the lowest in our history. People have to now go understand that a labor market exists and the price of labor is the salary. You may have to make it part fixed, part variable, so you have people work according to, and you pay them according to how much they produce, but however you do it. But the times have changed. So we know, working with heart, and government, remember government invests from little baby school up to tertiary education. So the government and the Andrew Holness administration, the second biggest budget for the 3rd year, I think, or maybe 4th year now, in our administration is the education budget. And I tell you, it is the biggest operation budget. Why? Because a big part of finance, which is the biggest budget, is debt payment. It's not operational stuff. They don't do things, we pay the debt. So education has that money, but it's now at a place where employers have to understand that in a tight market, the salary becomes an important issue, has to be negotiated and talked about. But the government is also working, and business must step up to train a lot more people. We are going to train people in terms of apprenticeship. We haven't done a lot of apprenticeship here, but that's what built Germany. Germany after the Second War, it was apprenticeship. Not so much PhD and lawyers, but people who had skills. We want people to have skills. We're working with heart, and we're going to expand the workforce through apprenticeship. So those young men, primarily young men who are in the corner, rubbing them hand middle, we're going to take them, not just keep them at home. Take them to a place, Cobbler and other places. Give them a stipend to learn. Make sure they're disciplined. I see that the Prime Minister just appointed the former Chief of the Defense Staff, General Rocky Mead, onto the board of heart. I hope them better stand up and realize this who the Prime Minister appoint. There must be a message in that because they want discipline. You can't go in the workplace and not be disciplined. So we're looking as government to expand that workforce. But I'm encouraging businesses who you represent and who pay all the taxes. My salary, the Prime Minister's salary, is paid by business. If government start printing money, it's pure social inflation. So I have to wait till we collect the taxes. So I'm very pro you here with the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Tagline, Jamaica's business ministry. Therefore, we support business. We support you in middle management. But you in business must train a lot more, and with skill. We must upskill our people to meet it. So you know what? I'm going to just talk to you about the first objective. How many people in here talk about export? Let me answer it. Nobody. Maybe 3. Maybe 3. See the 3 of them here? Them a pint them hand in the fear. Down here, sir. 2 more over there, sir. For the past 6-8 months, that's all I talk about. When I came into the ministry, 2 months after I got the latest Staten report, and I saw our exports. For 2021, we imported $5.975 billion worth of goods and services. You know how much we export? Dege, $1.441 billion US dollars. The difference, the negative trade balance in that year alone was 5.34. 4,534,000,000 US dollars was the trade gap. We cannot be a great country that way. In fact, I put it to you that our per capita GDP is less than $5,000. Everybody in the Caribbean, in CARICOM, except one country, is ahead of us. That is untenable. We are Jamaica. That must change. We cannot clap on yourself because we cannot stay there. We cannot become a wealthy country selling to only 3 million people that has a per capita GDP of less than $5,000. Can't happen. Therefore, we have to export more. We can't invade no land because it's only island we live on. All we can invade is sea. We don't have enough ships. Expensive. So therefore, we must export. Everybody in here must become an exporter in companies. I was talking to two people who own a pharmacy the other day. I said, why didn't you go with me to Guyana? Guyana is opening up 780 people, 11 billion barrels of oil that Exxon declared. That means they have more. So why aren't we expanding? We must get out. So that's why I raised a lead trade mission to Guyana, to already Trinidad, Domrep, and going other places. We cannot stay in Jamaica and get export markets. We must go for it. So when you go back to your business, find the MD, find the CEO, and say we have to export. I don't care if you're making coffins, find a place to sell them. We have to export. So I'm challenging this middle management group, a very important group. You have the brain power, you have the training, you have the youth, you have much experience, some experience, more, getting more. At Harvard Business School, they created something called a BHAG. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Our big, hairy, audacious goal must be to make sure we wipe down that 4.534 negative trade balance incrementally. Now, let me tell you how easy it's going to be. This is how I define easy. Last year was our 60th anniversary. So I asked my researchers, I said, give me the trade balance, the trade figures for 60 years, for 61 years, from 1960 to 2021. In those 61 years, there's only 1 year that we had a positive trade balance, which means we exported more than we imported. And you know how long ago that was? 1966. So you see how it is. It's not going to be easy, but we have to start. So you, the middle managers, who have courage, who must be authentic, who must have vision, me leaving you with one vision, 4,534,000,000 US dollars negative trade balance. If anybody can move the needle, it's you. Thank you very much.
Keep the applause going one more time, ladies and gentlemen, for Senator Hill. Thank you so much for bringing us opening remarks this morning, for touching on the facets of a leader, the importance of skill set, having the right attitude, and of course, finally, leaving us with tenets of the ministry. Thank you so much, Minister.